Welcome to the Lift Oneself podcast, where we break mental health stigmas through conversations. I'm your host, Nat, and we dive into topics about trauma and how it impacts the nervous system. Yet we don't just leave you there. We share insights and tools of self-care, meditation, and growth that help you be curious about your own biology. Your presence matters. Please like and subscribe to our podcast. Help our community grow. Let's get into this. Oh, and please remember to be kind to yourself. Welcome to the Lift Oneself podcast, Eric. I'm so thankful you're here with me.
Thank you. I'm grateful to be here, and I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
As am I, because you're going to give me some education. Would you be willing to come into a guided meditation before we start this conversation so that we can sync our hearts and ground ourselves?
I would love that.
Okay. For the listeners, I know many of you listen to this podcast either through your ears or while driving. So although I'll tell Eric and myself to close our eyes, please don't, because I want you and everyone around you to be safe. Yet the other prompts you're able to follow with whatever activity that you're doing. So Eric, I'll ask you to gently close your eyes, get comfortable in your seating, and you're going to begin breathing in and out through your nose. And bring your awareness to watching your breath go in and out through your nose. Don't try to control your breath. Just watch the rhythm of it while staying focused with your breath. There may be some sensations or feelings that are coming up. It's okay, don't push anything away. Allow them to arise. You're safe to feel. You're safe to let go. Surrender the need to control. Release the need to resist and just be. Be with your breath. Drop into your body. Keep your awareness on your breath. Eric, I'm going to ask you in your mind to create an intention you want to bring forth in this conversation and for the listeners. And when you've created that intention, I'm going to ask you to release it in your thoughts, in your mind, allowing it to drop into your nervous system, down your throat, in your vocal cords, further down into your heart, reaching down into your stomach, into your life force. While still staying with your breath, allowing that intention to surround your energy force. Still staying with your breath and dropping further into your body and allowing that intention to fully surround you. Now, while still staying with your breath, at your own time and at your own pace, you're going to gently open your eyes while staying with the breath. How's your heart doing?
It's doing very well, and that was a really good way to start a podcast.
A lot of us say the things that we need to do, and I really want to bring people into the practical part to see what the benefits are of really just anchoring in our breath every so often to check what our inner state is. It's the most simplest, freest thing that we can do, but we forget to access this powerful tool. Can you let the listeners know who Eric is?
Sure. Well, Eric is just, I just am. Eric is just Eric. But yeah, I can go into more, I guess, professional details if that's what you want as well.
Sure. For some of the listeners, they won't understand the I am.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's nice to meet everyone. My name's Eric. I'm 30 years old, blessed to be living in beautiful Southern California. My main hobbies are chess, Muay Thai, reading, anything under the sun, and meditation. And I just got back from a Vipassana meditation retreat in Joshua Tree, California. which
Oh,
the method is that's what our meditation reminded me of because that's just how you start it off. And that's something I plug on every single podcast, whether it's a lift yourself one or just a straight tech one. I plug that everywhere I go just because it's been one of the most beneficial experiences for me in my entire life. So I highly recommend everyone check out Vipassana meditation. It's free, or just check it. And if it aligns with you, you'll do it. If it doesn't, you won't. So it's, again, up to you. Those are my main hobbies. I went to school at the University of California, Irvine, interned in Washington, D.C. and Barcelona during that time. My first job out of college was at Snap Inc., helping craft their ad algorithm. And after that's when I joined a bankruptcy consulting firm, as well as started my deep dive into cryptocurrency and Web3 simultaneously. The reason I end up leaving that job is because the ethos of the bankruptcy consulting firm didn't align with the ethos of cryptocurrency, which I was pretty heavy into integrating that into myself. So obviously, if something doesn't align with me, I owe it to myself and the people around me to leave that situation, wish them all the best. And then that's what led me to start a SaaS platform as well as ShopX and Data Inc. So what ShopX is, it's a way for brands to help monetize in Web3. So the difference between Web 1 versus Web 2 versus Web 3 and is quite simple. So in Web 1, just think of read only. So you can go online and you can read stuff, which is fantastic because the spread of information I think is very important if it's good information. In Web 2, you can read and you can write, but you don't own. So the easiest way to frame this would be like Instagram. Just think of Instagram, for example, or social media. I can write a post. You can read my post so you can view it, but neither of us owns the post. Instagram owns the post, so they can sell our data for nefarious purposes. They can cancel us. They can do what they want. It's their post. So in Web3, you can read, write, but you can also own your own content. And
mm,
this is incredibly powerful information. It's incredibly powerful technology because the ownership falls on the person. So you can read content, you can write content, but you can own the content. So if I were to create content in Web3 in the form of a cryptocurrency or NFT, let's say I gift you that NFT, you now own the NFT. There's a connection between me and you, and I can send value to you in however I see fit. So my area of expertise is e-commerce. So if I'm an e-commerce brand, you have that NFT, I can send you discounts. I can send you free product. I can send you in real life events because that value stream is between me and you, and there's no third party interfering with that. And the cool thing about that is you own that NFT. Let's say we are so ways, we have beef or whatever. I can't take away the NFT from you. Even though I created it, it's my e-commerce business. You own that NFT. I can't take it away from you. The
mm.
government can't take it away from you. Amazon, Instagram, Facebook, they can't take it away from you. It's your NFT. So that's where the power comes from that. So I think that's an extremely important concept if you're thinking of just currency as a whole. Because imagine if maybe someone like a is a powerful position doesn't like the spiritual content. It's like he wants to keep people on a low vibration. What's the best way to do that for them? To control the money supply. What is controlling the money supply do to this? A, they can take it away whenever they want, but A, they can also print the money to infinitum. And when they print money, that's actually stealing money from me, you, and everyone else. This keeps us in a mindset of scarcity because you can't operate from abundance if you're worried about paying for your rent. You can't pay for your groceries. If you can't support your family, how can you operate from abundance if you're just in that mode of scarcity? Which I think is all by design. And I think Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and Web3 fixes it. I mean, just think about it logically. In our current system, and again, I view money as neutral. To me, money is energy. I think if you produce a tremendous amount of value for humans, I think, and you become rich from that, all the power to you because you'll probably do good with that money anyways. But if I wanted to become rich right now without producing any value to the world, how would I do this? I would just place myself right next to the money printer, aka the Federal Reserve, because I have access to that money printer. I pay myself, I pay my friends and government or contractors. They all get paid, they get rich off of all of us. And then now that I'm in the position of power, I bring in more corrupt people. Now these three corrupt people will beat the non-corrupt people because we have unlimited money. We have access to the lobbying thing. Now there's six people who are corrupt in power And that problem just stems and it ends up in the situation we are in right now. But the hope is, I think, a Bitcoin or a hard money standard, because again, think about it. If I want your cryptocurrency, if I want your Bitcoin, if I want your NFT, how do I get this? Well, I can't physically take it away from you. I can't print it away from you. I have to produce something of value for you, and then you voluntarily give me the cryptocurrency. And we're just two people, but imagine that at the scale as a human race. It's like, okay, if I want to get rich, how do I do this? Well, the only way for me to do that is to produce a tremendous amount of value for a lot of people. And this will empower people because, first of all, the only way you can produce a tremendous amount of value for a lot of people is to follow your natural gifts. I can't produce tons of value if I'm doing what someone else tells me. I have to follow my heart, I have to follow my soul, and do what I'm good at, and that's the best way I can produce that value. And why does this work? Because I truly believe that people are happiest when they're serving other people. And like try giving $20 versus asking $20. You just know there's a huge difference. And I think the universe bestows each of us with individual gifts. Like each of us are good at specific things. And the universe wants us to use our individual gifts to serve other people. So I think Bitcoin and AI and technologies are a way to unlock that potential. And I think as humans, we're raising our own level of consciousness. I think we just passed an important threshold of 200. So I have a positive outlook on what the future looks like for all of us, even in our generations. I think we got this.
Now I'm going to be the skeptic. How do we bring these NFT or these currencies into the real world? Like, how am I paying my bills? How am I paying my grocery stores or whatever the basic needs into the world that still use currency as paper form, or how the government is created?
Yeah, so long term, for NFTs and Web3 and cryptocurrencies to be accepted, they have to be done completely in the background. Like my mom has to take out her phone, tappy tap tap, something happens, she gets her product, the merchant gets paid, everyone's happy. So what's going to happen in the background is you'll have your bank account, like let's say you have 100 US dollars in your bank account. They'll tap, it'll connect to the blockchain. A CCIP protocol like Chainlink will automatically switch your 100 US dollars to a stablecoin version of that US dollars. The merchant will then get paid in that US dollars, and then it would switch on the back end to his bank account. But neither you, the merchant, or anyone knows that's really happening. And this may sound similar just to our current monetary system, but the base is different. So if the base is a stablecoin based on Bitcoin, they can't just infinitely print the base money supply. So they're still operating by those rules. And in terms of Web3 mass adoption, there are two things that are preventing that right now. And I'm sure you know them. But the two things that are preventing Web3 mass adoption are, the first is user interface. So if you're, let's say you're 100% branded to crypto Web3, trying to interact with a Web3 product and services, honestly, it's difficult. It's just not ready for the general public. So that's going to solve itself because of the nature of Web3. Web3 is composable, meaning it takes advantage of the compound interest of software, essentially meaning everyone just copy and paste code. So if someone figures out a solution, pretty much everyone copies it, and then it makes the whole system stronger. So in Web3, we got the big brands like Nike, Sephora, Adidas. Everyone's dipping their toes. They haven't done the deep dive. But once they do the deep dive, let's use Nike, for example. They do the deep dive, they decide this is the future. And from conversations, I can tell that's what most brands think. They do the deep dive, they decide it's the future. Now they have the incentive to create a seamless customer experience for their customers. Nike's not going to send their customers to a terrible customer experience. Adidas, Reebok, they see that Nike did this, they see how they did it, and they can copy and paste it for their own solutions, and then that just spreads worldwide. The second reason Web3 hasn't been adopted as of now is the incentives. Like, why would my mom interact with a cryptocurrency or Web3 product? Well, she wouldn't, because there's no real reason for her to do so. And that's for companies like ShopX come into play. So we're adding e-commerce incentives for people to interact with the space. So what we're a way for brands to monetize on Web3. So if you're a Shopify or WooCommerce brand, those are the two of the major e-commerce sites. So if you wanted to start a brand, you probably use one of those two platforms. We're an app within that ecosystem. And now you just download the ShopX app, you deploy an NFT or reserve pass, we call it, and then you add products to that NFT. So if Nike were to launch a gold, silver, bronze style NFT collection for their customers, The gold style pass could have specific benefits. It could be like, okay, this product's free. This silver pass could have, okay, well, this product's 50% off. And the bronze pass could have, okay, well, you get this product before everyone else. And me as a customer, because I don't believe you can force anyone to do anything. I think forcing people just simply does not work. You can't like, you need this Web3 technology. It's the future. People are like, no. But me as a customer, if I want that specific e-commerce benefit that's offered by the brand, I then, okay, well, I'll buy this NFT. Now they wanted to do it. And that's a 0 to 1 moment for a lot of people. Because like if I wanted that Nike Gold Pass, I have to interact with the space. I have the NFT. And if I want to learn more about how it helps people, I can do so. As a matter of fact, in our flagship launch with the Mag Park, they sell hats in Los Angeles. Like it's a family-run business, that type of thing. They're not like large at all. But they attached a physical hat to their NFT for their customers to purchase. And over 100, so they sold out their NFT pass and 120, they sold 125 passes for 0.75 ETH, which is around 2 grand in less than 24 hours to their clientele, which are like around 22, 23-year-old guys into hypewear who aren't like, they have normal incomes, like they're not rich by any means, but they wanted the product. So they dropped that amount of money for the NFT pass. And the coolest thing about it was over 50% of the people who purchased that NFT pass were 100% brand new to crypto. So they wanted that. They wanted to have like, okay, I want this hat. I support this brand. Let me learn how to use this. They did. And now that they have that pass, there's a connection between the customer, like let's use me as an example, me and the brand owner, Mickey. So now I get continuous products, I get continuous benefits because Mickey has a relationship with me. There's a private section in his Discord for his NFT pass holders where we can talk to the brand owner, it makes it a much more personal experience. I can vote on new products. I can give my input. He even had a raffle where one of his pass holders gets to design that product, a new hat that's coming out. So it creates that connection. And if we can do that at scale in a very simple manner, keyword being simple, I think we have a good future ahead of us.
Okay. Why would somebody want to start doing the NFT? Like you said at the beginning, the ownership aspect is really important that we're seeing in the world. So why would somebody want to really start educating themselves and start investing in this type of currency?
Yeah, so regarding the NFT, there are two groups of parties we have to consider. So ShopX is a B2B to C company, meaning we could sign all the brands in the world, but if they can't sell the product to their customer, it's kind of dead on arrival. So why would a brand want to the space and launch an NFT with e-commerce benefits? Well, there are multiple reasons. The first, I would say the most important metric is the customer loyalty. So because the customer feels they have ownership in the brand, they're going to go to the brand over and over again. So we've seen that increase around 6 times. Like if you think about like a timeshare, whereas like if I have a timeshare in Hawaii, I hear my friend, you're staying in Hawaii, I'm like, okay, you're gonna stay in my timeshare. It's the best timeshare. Whereas if I don't have the timeshare, I don't particularly care where you stay. It's like, oh, stay here if you feel like. So there's that ownership. And in e-commerce, there's something called a customer acquisition cost. And that's essentially the cost. How much money do I have to spend to acquire the first customer? And a lot of times it's more than they make from their first customer. So the name of the game isn't isn't getting the first customer, it's how do I keep the first customer? And this is where that ownership really comes into play. And from the customer side, because I own the NFT, it's my NFT. I can do whatever I want with it. I can sell in the secondary market. I can keep it forever. I can pass on to my kids. If the brand, like let's say the Mag Park, for example, becomes the next like Nike or whatever, then theoretically the monetary value of that NFT should increase as well. So it's a way for the brand to show their wealth with their customer. Another the second and third most important metrics from the brand side are I'd say the second is conversion rates. So as a brand, you're trying to sell stuff online. You measure how many times someone hits your sites versus how many sales you have. The average conversion rate is around 1%, and that's considered good. With Web3 ownership, we've seen conversion rates of 80% because they've already bought into the product. They've already put the effort in. They have the NFT. They're likely to buy your product at an 80% rate. So if I have 100 passes, I can safely assume 80% of the people who have that pass are going to buy the product. And this is important for me as a brand because it gives me a gauge of how much product I should make. Because that's hard for brands. Like how much product do I make? How do I know it's going to sell? You don't. So a lot of times it's just guessing. But if you could, like, okay, well, 80 products are going to sell. I'll make 80 products. That's cool. I can also make 40 products so I know they sell out. So it creates some sort of FOMO. So you can play around with that. And the third, and I think this is honestly, this is my favorite metric. Pretty much all marketers will disagree because everyone's about numbers, numbers, numbers. But I think the most important metric, the most important thing Web3 ownership has is the word of mouth marketing effect. And it's hard to track. Like you can't, it's hard to track second and third order effects. Like I could tell you a proud product and then you tell your friend, like, how do you track that? It's hard to do. But because of the ownership aspect, you feel like you're part of the brand. You tell everyone about your brand. And we've seen e-commerce where they launch NFT collections, and then people will switch their profile picture on like Twitter and Instagram to the profile picture of their NFT because they're proud to have it. And it just becomes a really good word of mouth marketing effect. It's like, because you feel like you're part of the brand. You have a new relationship with them. This is your brand. You're going to talk about it to everyone. You would enter because you want the e-commerce benefits from the brand. If you like the brand, you like their benefits, you enter. If you don't, you don't. Again, can't force anyone.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to bring it in a way that maybe because some people might be hearing you and they're like trying to visualize it, but really can't understand what you're saying. So me as a business, LiftOneSelf, if I want to put content out there, what would be the steps I would do and why would I do that?
Yeah, so you as a business, I'm gonna cite our case study with Fox Studios because I'd say our biggest client is Fox Studios' new show Copopolis.
Yeah.
They have a NFT collection called the Crab Chickens. So those crab chickens, you get specific benefits. So let's say LiftOneSelf, they wanted to launch an NFT product. What you would do is you would create a Shopify store, download the ShopX app, and then fill out 2 forms that would create your NFT, and then you'd be good to go. What's happening on the back end is when you fill out the forms, you're actually deploying your own smart contract. But again, no one needs to know it. All you see is a Form A, picture, name, price, how many NFTs, that sort of information. Click next. Form B is a landing page for your customer. So we just auto generate a landing page like, okay, name, description, when you want this landing page to go live. So really simple information. You as a brand, you fill those out. You click deploy, and now you have a link for your customers to go. If they like the benefits that you're offering, they go to the link, you send it out via social media, Instagram, email, however you'd send it out. And then you can purchase with Ethereum or take ownership of your own NFT. But we've also integrated with Crossmint, so you can also pay with credit card. So what's happening in the background is me as a customer, I'm purchasing the LiftOneSelf NFT. I'm paying credit card. I'm technically buying Ethereum, paying for the gas fee, and then you're getting paid in Ethereum as a brand. But I don't see that. I just see credit card information. I click pay. I have that. And now that I have that NFT, there's a connection between me and you. And whatever benefits you want to give me, you can. So Fox, what they do is NFT holders get merchandise. NFT holders get access to exclusive content, which would I think apply more to the podcast. NFT holders get to vote on what's going to happen in the show so they can vote on who they want to have next. So there's that relationship. Great. I'm getting my benefits. 15 years down the line, you're the next Joe Rogan. You become as big as Joe. You have that audience. Because I've supported you early on, my NFT price probably skyrockets. I'm like, okay, well, she's the next Joe. Someone will probably buy this, so I could share in the wealth from you. But because there's a connection between me, like, hey, you guys bought my NFT pass when you were early. Like, you were on the 50th. Like, you supported me when I was early. I'm big now. Let me give back to you. How do I do this? I have the show coming up tour. Front page passes for you. Autograph merchandise, exclusive content. I know because you know who we are.
So how easy is it for the consumer? Because I'm asking as a creator, but I take it like it's almost like a creator and a consumer in this world.
Yeah, so the cool thing about NFTs is it creates a relationship, it creates a bilateral stream of value between the creator and the consumer. Whoever the creator is, that's up to the creator. So like I'm good with e-commerce brands with creators. You're a content creator, you can be that type of creator. It can be an artist too, it can be a musician, it can be an athlete. So any type of creator is creating the pass. And from the creator side, it's super easy. Like I said, you just fill out those 2 simple forms, you get your NFT collection, and you get a link for people to go to. From the consumer side, again, the credit card makes it super easy. So all you have to do is you click like let's use e-commerce for example. Like let's say I'm running a store, I token gave one product. If I have the NFT pass and you don't, let's say you try to go purchase that product, you'll get to a screen saying, oh, okay, well, if you want to purchase this product, you have to own this pass, and then a link will just direct you there. If you want to buy it, you can. Me as the pass holder, if I wanted to purchase this product, the computer scans that I have the NFT pass, and then I'm able to check out. And the cool thing is, since I'm able to check out, we don't mess with the checkout process. Any retention emails, any payment options, anything that the brand already has set up, we don't mess with that. And me, and you, since you don't have the pass, but you want the product, you want to buy the product, how you do this, you just take out your credit card, and it's just like a normal transaction online. You get your normal credit card info, click buy, you can get the pass, and then you're good to go. You don't even have to know it's an NFT, to be honest. Some brands just call it passes, just as easier for people to understand. It's like, oh, it's a loyalty pass.
Okay. And now the word that's coming in my mind that I'm sure a lot of listeners, where's the safety in all of this? And if I invest or I buy something, where is the reward, or is there a risk?
Yeah, so the key tenet of Web3 is ownership, because you own the asset. So, like, for example, if I own an NFT, if I own a cryptocurrency, if I lose that cryptocurrency or NFT, there's no one I can call to get it back. So I can't, like, just might get hacked and I'm like, okay, Chase, here's refund me this. So you can't do that. But in terms of safety, there are ways to secure your cryptocurrency or NFTs in a really simple way. So all you do is you just get a hardware device. You get a hardware device. It's like a USB. You can store all your crypto assets in that device. It's called a Trezor, and then that's completely taken offline. So once it's offline, you're good to go. Yeah, there's a small learning curve in safety, and essentially when you do create a wallet, so a cryptocurrency wallet is essentially just where cryptocurrency or NFTs are held. You just create that wallet. There's something called a seed phrase. The seed phrase is the most important thing. So if you're a new listener, just the seed phrase is what you have to remember, and don't ever get that away. So those are 16 to 24 words. If anyone gets those words, they have access to your cryptocurrency or NFT. But the cool thing is, if no one knows the words, only you have access. So the government can't come in and take all of that. So those are your options if you want to take custody of your own assets. But of course, there are easier solutions. Like, for example, Coinbase. If you want to create a Coinbase account or any authorized reseller, just go online, create the account, and they store with you. And there is some risk like that. Just like the bank could shut your account down and take all your money, Coinbase can do that as well. But again, it's a regulated company it's got stock options and all that. So it's very unlikely to do so. So just thinking like the Coinbase, like JP Morgan Chase. Yes, it's your money, but it's technically an IOU. So just like you have money at the bank, they owe you the money, but they could say like, no, we can keep it. Coinbase can do that as well. But again, if you don't want to go through the learning curve, that's an easy first step. But once you take ownership of that, no one can take it away from you. But the risk is if you lose it, you lose it.
Okay. So it's almost like trusting the bank to put it in their deposit, but you could still lose it. However, they have some measures to make sure that, you're safe. Whereas if you keep your money in your home, somebody robs you or the house burns down, it's gone.
Yeah, it's like just think of like gold, where it's like if I had a gold bar, I could put it in the bank and it's still my gold bar, but something could happen to the bank, they could take it. Or if I bury it in the backyard, like it's my gold bar, like someone has to go and take it from me, but yeah, there's a risk, but there's also a reward for that.
So we're saying about 5 years, how do you see the world with Web3 and this crypto?
Yeah, so in terms of Web3, I've always been mass adoption. It's got to be 5 to 10 years out, just because a lot of stuff has to be built. So I'd say 5 to 10 years. It's just running in the background. No one's even knowing it's happening. Like, for example, you could interact with your bank. Like the bank it'll probably be like the base layer of currency for a lot of governments. So like, for example, El Salvador, they're adopting it as their main Bitcoin as their main monetary system. So all the stuff they print will be based off the Bitcoin standard. So just like there's a gold standard, a certain amount of US dollars would redeem you for a certain amount of gold. Governments will just do that with Bitcoin as the base standard. So the average person doesn't really need to know what's happening. They'll use a normal.
And what would you advise for any new listener that doesn't know anything about crypto? What would you advise them to start? Like, what's a small investment or dipping their toe into this?
Well, nothing I say is financial advice. Nor I think everyone is best making their own personal financial decisions. So what I did when I started and what I did with my mom when I got her into it is I just bought $5 with on Coinbase. I'm like, what is this? Let me just buy $5 with Coinbase. And that small amount it incentivized me to learn more because I'm like, okay, well, I have a small amount. I know the process. Let me start learning about it more. Then I bought like 100 or something. And then it started like because cryptocurrency price is volatile upwards. So it's volatile, but it's going upwards, which in my mind beats guaranteed downwards. So once the price started kicking in, the swings made me want to learn more and more because I'm like, oh, cool, this is making money. And then I learned more about the ethos, and now I'm just a hardened holder. So a lot of people, they come for the gains, but they stay for the ethos. So yeah, small amount, $5 with the Coinbase or whatever you can afford. It's a good step because again, the name of the game is 0 to 1. And if you want to learn more, there's plenty of resources available online. You can, I've been in the space for years, like since 2016 around, and every day there's new stuff to learn. So if you're looking for information, there's a plethora.
Okay. So now the listeners may be wondering, okay, so I want to know more, Eric. Do you have a website, or do you offer information or services to help people navigate through this?
Yeah, so in terms of ShopX, we have a website, shopx.co. But my personal Instagram, Eric D. McHugh, I love helping people get into the crypto space. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out directly. Again, if there's plenty of information if you want to learn more about cryptocurrency, so on Google or Twitter, the best beginning person to learn from would be Andreas Antonopoulos. So he lectured years ago. So he does a really good job at breaking it down simply, specifically for the new cryptocurrency user. So I think he's the best place to start if you do want to learn more.
Okay. And for the listeners, I'll have all of this information in the show notes, so you're easily clickable and able to contact Eric to, inform yourself. Yeah, as long as there's been some curiosity, even if there's some resistance, it's still always informing yourself to have knowledge and not just shutting everything down, because the world is changing. Currency and the way businesses are, things are changing. So it's better to have the information than to be very reactive trying to catch up to something. I want to ask you a reflective question, Eric. I want to ask you to bring your awareness right now and to go back to your 18-year-old self. And you're able to tell your 18-year-old self 3 words to carry you to the journey right now. What would those 3 words be?
Be yourself. Those are 2 words, but just be yourself. Because like once the student is ready, the teacher approaches. So because like when I was 18, because like most of your like wants and desires are just programmed into you like from a young age. So when I was 18, I was in college. I was going down that normal path, which resulted in Snapchat. Because like, oh, I want to work at the cool tech company, which eventually resulted in consulting. It's like, oh, I went to college, doctor, lawyer, consultant. That seems fancy. So that's the only reason I did that. And I mean, obviously that led me to where I am now. But if I just cut that on and just follow my hearts and passions, I would have found Bitcoin at a really cheap price, and I'd probably be way richer than I am. But working for yourself and doing good for others is just really the way to go. Like, because once you find a life of purpose, nothing feels like work. It's all play to you. And I didn't have that at Snapchat or the consulting firm, but I have that now. And then some practical I would also recommend you start meditation early. That again, meditation is, for me personally, it's just been the most beneficial thing I've ever done. So I'd be like, yeah, just do it, take it seriously. Because it takes a while to get into meditation. Because like, I don't want to do it. And you start, it's like, oh, this is dumb. But once you've like integrate it into your daily practice and get a rhythm going, there's nothing I'd rather do than meditate.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I want to ask, how long have you been meditating?
So I've dabbled in it for a while. So before I knew official meditation was, I've always listened like since like freshman year of high school, I would listen to binaural beats, which are essentially just like 2 different frequencies on 2 different ears. So your brain it matches a specific frequency, and it's a good way to calm yourself or attract stuff or cleanse yourself, whatever your goal is. I've been actively meditating, and after that, like I would try to meditate here and there, like I said, for 50 minutes, not get much out of it. But I've been actively meditating for, I would say, 3 to 4 years. But
Mhm.
after the Vipassana meditation retreat is when I really take it seriously. Now I meditate every day.
I take it the Vipassana meditation was 10 days of silence.
Yeah, so that was in September, 10 days of noble silence. So no, look, you just have your room, meditation hall, dining hall, and a walking path and Joshua tree. No looking at anyone, talking with anyone, no notebook, no nothing but just work, which was amazing. It was challenging, but amazing. Very challenging, but
Very.
yes. Yeah.
It's warrior work.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet. I've done like 2 days of silent within my home because I'm a parent and I
Oh
have
yeah.
boys. So telling them like, okay, I'm not going to be speaking, yet still having to do the daily, responsibilities, cooking and stuff. So I didn't really get that deep, really
Yeah.
inner work of just relating to yourself, relating to your nervous system, and then allowing yourself to surrendering to go into other dimensions, because I really see the nervous system as that portal of once you can get past that frequency, that kind of, if you know quantum physics, there's like a force field. And once you come out of that and you go into that center space, it's like there's so much that you connect into that is just amazing. And I think meditation for myself allowed me to reconnect into my curiosity and allow it to go even further out there and not just be limited, and allow it to go into the unknown and the uncertainty, where your mind tries to control and your defense mechanisms try to control of no. And it's like, let's explore, let's really see what the terrain is and open this up.
And yeah, once you're in the state of the unknown, that's where all the real magic happens anyways. That's the best place when it be. And that was the best part of the Vipassana meditation retreat, because the 10 days of noble science, it has to be long. Like, because I know people have done like 30 days, 60 days. I'm just like, oh geez, that's intense. But that's really your central nervous system gets a reset. Because like even for us now, like we're and because both of us meditate, but like imagine not meditating, even as from a young age, is constant bombardment like dopamine, it's stimuli. And I think everyone's central nervous system is fried, and I think it's by design. So if you can recoup that, then you start to feel the energy like flow up your spine, and once you get higher and higher, you hit different states of consciousness. But the important part about the 10-day thing is, I think you hit an important point, is like the 10 days of noble science, it keeps you in that meditative state because there's nothing to do. So like even after like the meditation session, you're in a room, you're still in some of the meditation session right now. Whereas like if I were to meditate right out this call, like maybe I do like an hour or so, even if it's a good meditation, I'll check my email, I'll check my phone right after, and I reconnect. Whereas like the 10 days of just, no, this is what you're here for. This is the work you're gonna do. That was incredibly beneficial. But yes, I understand. It's hard just to, even me the first time I heard, I'm like, I can't just take 10 days off. And I'm a single male, so it's obviously a lot easier for me. I'm like, I can't just dip out for 10 days. But the second time, yeah, so it was like a student, when the student's ready, a teacher approached us, and my friend recommended it a while ago. I just ignored it. I'm like, I can't do 10 days. But another trusted source I heard about, I'm like, okay, that's when I did full send. But like as a single mother, your boys are probably just like, what do you mean you're quiet? That's no. Like it's yeah.
Yeah, and they know it's my way of living. And I even was looking, actually, I was looking in the month of February. Like I looked a few years back to go for 10 days, but then I was looking again this year, that because I feel a deep calling that my nervous system needs a reset, and really just because technology and social media, it is designed to keep us stimulated, keep us addicted to always, there's a sense of helplessness. There's a sense of needing to fix something or worry about things. And when that is being signaled in your system, you're in hypervigilance all the time, and it's running and running, and it's very difficult to regulate and just be calm. So that 10 days is really a real disconnect. Like it's a total shut down everything and re-download.
It's a disconnect to reconnect. And I think an important point, because everyone's in a state of hyper vigilance or whatever. So it's like, if you think about biology, when you're being chased by a tiger, you're experiencing a stress. That stress is necessary because you're being chased by a tiger. But as soon as the tiger is no longer there, you relax, you go calm, and that's good for you. But people with the 8-hour work week, like the 8-hour normal life, the tiger is just always there. So
Yeah.
for 8 hours, and during that time you're stressed, you're actually producing different chemicals than you would be if you're calm, and these chemicals aren't good for you. So I think it's necessary to develop like a spiritual practice. And to your point about social media, I view everything, and I think you do too, but everything in terms of energy, frequency, vibration. So when you're at a certain vibration, like let's say you're a certain emotional state, that's just a different vibrational state. I'm happy, I'm vibrating at X. I'm sad, I'm vibrating at Y. I'm angry, I'm vibrating at Z. So when you're below 200, that's when you're taking energy from people. When you're above 200, that's when you're giving energy from people. And when you're around like 100 to 200, so I think that's shame is the lowest you can feel. So shame's the worst for you. But when you're around like anger, fear, pride, hate, that's between like 100 and 200, I want to say. But that's when people are most controllable. That's when people are most influenced because they're scared, they're going to do something, they're angry, they're going to do something. So if you look at social media in that lens, it's like, why are those levels pushed all the time? Like, check Twitter and tell me what you see. It's just a bunch of, just like a bombardment of negativity. And I think it's designed by like the powers that be to keep people in a state where they can easily control them because they like their power. And they need to control everything for some reason. I don't get it, but they're like, oh, we need to control it.
It's a sense of manipulation. It's almost like another slavery tactic.
Oh,
That
it's 100%
if I
slavery
can
tactic. Yeah, that's exactly it.
withhold things, and if I can induce this, then you're distracted from your own powers within
Yeah,
and
and
power of your free will.
people in a low vibration because they don't want people to wake up. They don't want people to find their own power. Because when they find their own power, it's a beautiful, powerful thing. But then they lose control, which they need their control for some reason. So that.
It's the power struggle. Yeah. And I really appreciate this conversation. I really appreciate the openness. I'm going to ask you at the beginning in our meditation, are you willing to share the intention you had?
Yeah, raise my own consciousness, and that will eventually raise those around me.
Love it. Yeah, the change is always within us. I want to thank you, Eric, for this enriching, open conversation and giving me some knowledge and some information that I'm going to have to now take and do some homework and use the practicality. Thank you for what you are bringing into the world and, breaking it down in a very basic way so that it's digestible and opening yourself up to answer those questions to the listeners or the audience that are more interested and wanting to get the information.
Yeah, no, and thank you for having me, and to your audience. I'm grateful that you took the time out of a busy schedule to listen. And if there's anything I can do to support in the future, feel free to reach out anytime. And I'm wishing you nothing but peace, love, and happiness.
Thank you. Please remember to be kind to yourself.
Yes, very good advice. Not enough people take.
True.
Hey, you made it all the way here. I appreciate you and your time. If you found value in this conversation, please share it out. If there was somebody that popped into your mind, take action and share it out with them. It possibly may not be them that will benefit. It's that they know somebody that will benefit from listening to this conversation. So please take action and share out the podcast. You can find us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok under LiftOneSelf. And if you want to inquire about the work that I do and the services that I provide to people, come over on my website, come into a discovery call, LiftOneSelf.com. Until next time, please remember to be kind and gentle with yourself. You matter.